your book?
Yes, my name is David Witherington Stewart. I'm a Florida author. I'm 80.
Carol Kinney is a writer. I write
our very intimate Reader's Magnet author we have here, Alan Karen Rennie. It is Unfaded Beauty, book 1 of 4, the new Proverbs 31 Women series.
Well, hello there, authors, book lovers, and storytellers. My name is Franz, and I am your host for today's Roundtable session. Well, if you're wondering why we are here and what we are here for, this is the prelude to the upcoming Festival of Storytellers that we will be having this January 20 and February until February 2, 2025. The Festival of Storytellers is the longest running book fair, virtual book fair that is, produced by Reader's Magnet for authors, with authors, for book lovers all over the world. So if you are excited, we are doubly excited because we have so much in store for you. And if you want to know more about the Festival of Storytellers, please head on to the festivalofstorytellers.com. Again, the website is the festivalofstorytellers.com. We are actually live now at the festivalofstorytellers.com. Also on the Facebook pages of Reader's Magnet and the Festival of Storytellers. Facebook page, LinkedIn, and YouTube. You know, if you have friends who are very passionate about any story, any narrative, invite them, share the link, because all they will be having at the end of the day is just to enjoy the discussions that we will have come the Festival of Storytellers. But you don't have to wait, because today you are all in for a treat. We have a roster of authors and leaders who will share their thoughts, ideas about the ever-changing landscape of leadership. How about that? So if you are a new leader, seasoned leader, a leader in your own right, in your family, neighborhood, office, no matter how big, small your business is, this is the day. This is a discussion that, you will be having a great time listening to, and of course, will be learning so much from. Because earlier today at the backstage, our guests have been telling me that they've done so much research and are very much prepared for today's discussion. So, without further ado, let me introduce our guests, starting off with the author of the book One Caregiver's Journey and another book entitled Generations of Good Food. We have Eleanor Gacetta. Hi, Ellie. Good morning, good afternoon to you.
Thank you. Nice to be here with everybody. Thank you.
Nice to see you. All right. We also have with us the author of the book Your Warrior Stands, Releasing the Warrior in You, Carmen Davenport.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Good day, Carmen. All right. And we have the author of the book, So You Want to Be a First Lady, and the book, Morning Tea with a King, Tish Barnhardt.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm well, my friend.
All right. And the author of the book, Crisis Equals Opportunity, Michael Pellegrino. Hey, sir. How are you?
Fantastic. I'm glad to be here.
Nice to see you again. And Reader's Magnet Senior Manager for Operations, we have James Perez. Hey, James.
Hey, hi, everybody. How are you guys doing?
Hey,
It's amazing to be here. I'm humbled to be here.
right? And again, for those who are just tuning in, we have a lot of viewers already. And if you have questions later on, feel free to put your questions on the comment box because who knows? Our guests right here will be able to answer your questions. And at the end of this session, we will also announce the winner for our social media promotion, which is create a title for the book that we shared, the book cover that we shared for like a couple of weeks ago. So that is very exciting. So our topic for today is the evolving landscape of leadership, adapting to change in the modern world. Very, very timely, right? Because we have gone through so much changes, whether it's technological, social movement, global crisis, name it, it has evolved, right? So let me start by asking the question, and anyone can, take a dib on the question. So can anyone share their thoughts on what do you think, or how has the definition of effective leadership changed over the past decade? Has it ever changed? How significant was the change? Anyone from our guests?
Why don't we go back a little farther than a decade?
Oh wow! Why not? That's right, Ellie.
So why don't we look at, say, 35 or 40 years of how this workforce has changed? When I started work, leadership was centralized, and they acted with a lot of authority. And conversely, employee relationships were personal, unlike trying to make friends at a distance through computer screens as we're doing right now. The pandemic changed the face of leadership. And it has had to deal a lot with the changes in social media platforms. I mean, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, X. The pandemic presented challenges for effective leadership when personnel were working 100% remote. And today there's the hybrid where some work from home and some work remote. So flexibility and trust in employees has risen to the forefront in today's leadership roles. And they have to navigate the return with in-person employment as well as people that are working remotely. And they've had to negotiate flexibility, and they've had to learn how to chart progress and productivity and success. Excuse me. But working remote requires a lot different leadership skills than it was when everybody worked in the office and we all dressed to the T's and to the nines, and now we can be here in our pajamas, our shorts, barefoot, and as long as you look good from here up, you're good. And I think it has changed. It has changed dramatically because the skill set that a leader has to have is very different today than it was even 10 years ago, before the pandemic.
Exactly, because I would even imagine, who would have thought, right, that home offices now or the hybrid setup would really still be sustained until now. And with all those changes, managing remotely has also been a thing, right? You can have employees speaking with someone here in Asia or the US, Europe, and you can even feel the difference, right?
Well, look at the age differences in today's workforce. Then, I mean, you have boomers, people in their 70s who are still working full time, either remotely or in an office, and you have the Gen Zers who are early 20s, late teens, who are connected almost entirely to social media. They want to be the mindset, everything about the two generations. It is a struggle to be a leader and to be an effective leader when you have to deal with those kinds of generational changes. And then the ones in between always also have their own little gigs. So
there's
Yeah.
even this thing called reverse mentoring now, wherein we are learning from the newer generations, because before, I'm older than you, I'm here before than you listen to me, but now it's reverse learning, right? It goes both ways. So
I
that's
agree with that
absolutely.
wholeheartedly, friends, because you know, we have to learn to embrace change, and that's one of the things that I find is very difficult for us as leaders, and of course those that were around leading 30 years ago, as Ellie just mentioned, and so it's like, okay, well, how do I embrace this change? Can I embrace this change? Can I develop the skill set, necessary to keep up now with the modern age? And I say that only because of myself, having to learn how to do these things. My sons teach me a whole lot as it relates to social media and technology and different things like that. But we as leaders, we have to be open to change, or otherwise, we might get left behind.
right.
Yeah.
So true. So true. Yeah,
Yeah.
and just the piggyback on that, I believe change is so important, because everybody wants change, but nobody wants to change. And
That
and
part.
we kind of have to really pivot in our life too, and build people up. And I remember 25 years ago, I remember 10 years ago, where the conversation in leadership was one-sided. And it was, okay, you're going to do this, and I don't care
That's
how
it.
it gets done. Now you look at things and say, okay, how can I put the right people around the right table, and best idea wins. Let's go around and see what the best idea is. But we still have to get the job done. And that's the most important part, is to make sure that we have that, and having the ability to see things through other people's perspectives, other people's lenses, because not everybody is going to see what I see from my lens, and that's where the change comes into. So if I had to describe it in one word or two words, it would probably be empowerment and respect.
That's good, Michael.
Yeah. It's
I would
more
add trust.
Trust is absolutely, that's absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind that trust is important.
exactly. And when we used to, do this, do that, we used to give those orders, but now we are asking ourselves, how can I guide you? What help do you need? It's more on coaching rather than giving directions. And we're also more on being inclusive, right? And sensitive to everyone's emotions. And that's where emotional intelligence also comes in. There's high emphasis on emotional intelligence and empathy. So, can anyone share, how do you think, or what is the role of emotional intelligence now when we talk about, modern leadership?
Yeah, I think it's everything you just said, friends. Showing that empathy. How many times have we been on places of employment, and, a life situation happens, and it was in the middle of a big project even, and, it's like, okay, well, no, you're not gonna be able to do that right now, or and you feel some type of way because, like, my child is this, or my mom this, or whatever just happened, and it feels like there's no emotional connection to me as a team member, but just as a person who is there to drive results, for the company. And not that that's not important, because it is, but we have got to, as leaders, develop that type of empathy. We have got to start implementing well-being, as well, because you want to be able to create an environment where the people want to come to work. You know what I mean? They get up and they're happy to come, and sometimes you can get more out of a person that's really, really happy and excited about working with your company, or working with even you personally. How many times have we been on jobs where We don't like the supervisor, God forbid they're working today. Oh my God, so you go in the Lowe's and stuff like that, right? Oh my gosh, she's supervisor today. Can somebody please bring James or Dodge? We go through those types of things. But I think that, if we can bring that emotional intelligence, into the results that we want driven, I think that we'll find that we are better off and our companies will grow.
Exactly.
They'll grow.
I totally agree with Tish, and I'm kind of enjoying my time here listening to Ellie, Tish, and Michael so far. I'm so excited to listen to Carmen. I missed the Guadalajara moment we had last year, but I'm enjoying my time because I find myself, friends, in a situation wherein I am part of the circle of leadership, but I
was
also
about
happen
to ask
be
you.
part of the millennial generation,
How
even
do you
to the
make it
Gen Z
possible?
generation. So
Mhm.
I was part of the generation you guys were talking about, but at the same time, I'm also placed in a position wherein I'm leading a team. So to answer Francis' question about what role does emotional intelligence play, it plays a major role, especially these days. I,
Yes.
for one, have to understand where I am standing, how I am feeling, where's my mental health at the moment, because I have to be a few steps ahead of anyone in my group or in my team. Otherwise, I will not be able to lead them, right? I will not be the alpha wolf if I don't know if I am the alpha wolf. I have to be the one to lead the team of the pack of wolves, right? So it's very important to have the emotional intelligence because it puts you in a situation wherein it humbles you down, and at the same time it gives you more room to accept different emotional intelligences coming from the people that you govern, right? And it's important to have that kind of relationship. Otherwise, the team will not have no focus, will have no direction, because the leader is not even clear to the position that he is in as a leader. So for me, it's a very, very important aspect in leadership.
So inside out, yourself first, develop that strong sense of emotional intelligence before you even expect, or you go and expect the same from your team, or even manage your team, right?
It's called
Yeah,
leading by example. Leading by example.
by example. And here at Readers Magnet, when we train our leaders, that's how the curriculum looks actually. More personal development first before you even engage with everyone else in the team there. All right. So let me ask this specific question though to Carmen, because we want to hear from you. So there's the employee well-being, emotional intelligence, but we still have to deliver, the need for results. So how do you think leaders would balance, the need for results while maintaining that emotional well-being of your employees?
Well, that's a very, very good question. And I'm conflicted because I'm coming from two different industries.
Mm,
Main industry is military. I'm in
mm,
it 25 years. And right now, when you think of the military, they don't really allow people to think because that could be very dangerous, So the leaders basically tell you to do this, do that, do this, do that. And when it's a proven path already, then, that's what they want you to do. They can't allow for us to go to Iraq or to Afghanistan and we get emotional about things, or we're thinking outside of the box about things because people can die. So we have two different avenues. Now, when we're talking about the regular organization, I feel that it's important for leadership to listen to their employees. I feel it's important for leadership to understand that employee well-being is an outcome to the organizations, just like productivity, just like performance, just like job satisfaction, just like engagement. Employee well-being is also an outcome that needs to be, flourished. And what tend to happen, we have a lot of employees or employers, I believe, that they have a strict personality. They believe in order to lead, I need to be assertive, I need to be direct, I need to be hard, this is how I have to be in order for my employees to listen to me. Whereas we have generational Z out, and they're like, they don't have respect for the elders. You know, a lot of people grew up with respect for our elders. So
Right.
it made working in places a little easier because we had that trust. Our elders is telling us what to do, you know, and we're going to go ahead and do it. But now it's kind of a whole different dynamic where the employees are much younger and they have a whole mind of their own. And if they don't want to do it, they're not going to do it. And they're going to tell you why they're not going to do it. And then now, the way they do it now is like, you know, if they're doing it in front of their peers, what's going to happen to you? What's going to happen to the respect that you thought you had? What's going to happen to your, you know, authoritative leadership? It kind of gets thrown out the window. So I truly believe that the balance nowadays, because our youth do have a voice, we didn't teach them as having a voice. You know, our elders didn't teach us as having a voice. You do what you're told to do. You know,
Right.
but they have a voice, and they have an opinion as well, and it needs to be respected. And honestly, I think our youth now has a lot more issues that they're dealing with compared to us. We were told, suck it up, just deal with it. This is how life is. Get over it. Move on. You know, that was the attitude that we grew up with, and that's the attitude that we're trying to leave. Whereas the youth is like, no, I want to sulk in my hurt and pain because you hurt my feelings, or I'm just going to quit because I don't need this job. You know, and that's the mentality that we now have to learn to deal with. You know, it's more of just understanding our employees, focusing more on employee well-being. If we focus on employee well-being, guess what? The job is still going to get done. Productivity is going to rise. Engagement is going to excel. They're going to happen anyway. So when your employees feel that you care about them, they feel that you're, you know, that they're an important part of the puzzle, not just a piece of the puzzle that can be, you know, thrown out like trash whenever they do something wrong, but they truly feel like they're an important part of the puzzle, then they will give it their all. It's OCBs, you know, organizational system behavior. They will give you their all.
I'm curious though, Carmen, do you think there's a specific measure or gauge for employee well-being? When can you say that, okay, I have to do extra on this aspect or that, how, what's your telltale signs or gauge for such?
There's a lot of different theories out there. And so when we're talking about OCBs is organizational citizenship behavior. So if the organization is actually showing the employees that they care for them, they're focusing on their well-being, they're allowing for them to go take care of their kids, you know, that employee is automatically going to take care of the organization. They just want to know that they're cared for. They want to know that they're an invested part of this organization. They're not just a piece of trash that can get thrown out or disposed of if they do something wrong. You know, and then you have the social exchange theory where we talk about leadership. It's the leadership social exchange theory. So you have leadership and the employees. And if the leadership is doing things for the employees is going to do things for the leadership. It's just showing that you care for them. And the young, that's all they want to, you know, they want to be a part of it. They want to make sure that their ideas are heard. You know, so when we come together, it's not just do, but what do you suggest? What do you think? What do you think can work here? If leaders maybe focus on becoming more of a team player, you know, a lot of times they get stuck in being a team player and being, you know, that supervisor. They become more of a team player, and you place everybody on the same playing field, and then people will care a little more. So we know what your pay grade is. You know, we know you're going to get paid, but let's get on the same sheet of music, be a team player, and kind of let's figure out how we're going to make this work. You know, so.
Well, especially with a lot of concepts now wherein, you know, people will just sometimes give the bare minimum as well. The concept of white quitting, like, okay, you thought they're happy, they're there, they're present, they're never late, they deliver, but they don't even go beyond because they're just there. to get the pay. That's it. But that small gesture of asking them how they are doing every day, just showing up because we might be, just enclosed in our own cubicle, and they will sometimes rarely see or talk to us. So
Yeah.
I think that's also how we can do a simple temp check, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where I think the psychological climate of caring. Just like you have organizational climate and organizational culture, you have a
Mm.
psychological climate of caring. And that's the individual perception of how the organization really cares about them.
Mm,
If that
mm,
individual perception that the organization doesn't care, then they're not going to care about the organization.
mm,
So if you present or implement different practices and policies, that's going to show them, hey, I care about you. I really
mm,
do care about you, not because I'm a leader and I'm supposed to, but I truly
mm,
care about you. What's going on? How can we make it work? But now, yeah, there are some. We do have some bad apples out there.
mm.
Sometimes some bad apples you can't do anything with, but go ahead and make some applesauce out of it. But sometimes you just gotta let them go. You know, and that's going to be a learning tool for them. Because that one bad apple, just like anything else, we still live by them. That one bad apple could ruin the rest of the apples that you have. That one bad employee, that one disgruntled employee, that one employee who just don't want it, just don't want to get it together. They could ruin the whole atmosphere. So now
Yeah.
we're talking about organizational climate. How's that organizational
Mhm.
climate being affected by that one
But
person?
in today's world, Carmen,
Mhm.
with the hybrid, with the remote, with the in office, you deal with the bad apples separately as opposed to dealing with the whole team.
Yeah,
It,
you
it,
find
it, you
you
can't
see
you can't you can't make everybody else feel that they're not valued because you got one stinker in the office. You deal with the
Mhm.
stink, and you deal with that alone, as opposed to when a leader would stand in front of an office and say, well, this is how it's going to be from now. And everybody look at each other and go, what the hell are they talking about? Or who are they talking about? Or they
Yeah.
knew exactly who they were talking about. But in today's remote, in today's hybrid, you have to learn to deal with it. But leaders can deal with a particular situation without involving anyone else. And I think
Absolutely.
that's
absolutely. And the big
It's
thing now is job design. There's still a way to structure things. So you may have a bad employee, bad because they're just doing their own thing, not necessarily bad meaning they're not productive, because of course nobody's going to keep people who's
Mm,
unproductive. But if they just don't get along with the mix, we have so many different mental things going on in society now. They may just not click, and that may just be that
where they need
person
to
where,
go.
yeah, well, it could be that person where it's, hey, something, we do
Give
have
them an
some
alternative.
remote positions, right?
mm,
Since we have some remote positions, how about we go ahead and place you? You can
mm-mm.
work from home. You're still doing great work, but you just don't get along with the rest of the apples.
Mhm.
mm,
That's all. So let's let you go ahead and work from home. We still have skill sets that we can
Mhm.
utilize, but you just need a different design from the rest of the apples. You
I
know.
agree. I agree with Carmen and Ellie, and it also brings me back to our very quick prelude to the opening of our session, which was mentioned by Michael earlier, that in the facade of a happy employee is a productive employee, because it's important for us to look back and really look into their upbringing, and I think that's what Michael was trying to
Yes.
say earlier.
Yes.
Um, the concept of being told a bad employee is as dangerous as not knowing exactly their upbringing. For me, like psychology, childhood traumas, family background, upbringing from parents are
mm,
very major and crucial foundation or fundamentals
Yeah.
of being a person. And that same person is an employee in your organization.
Yeah.
So, yes, anybody can just look happy, but
mm,
a bad employee may not necessarily be a bad employee, but a person who is not used to being heard, who is not used to being listened to, who's not being acknowledged. So I think it's important for us to really, yes, it is important to set that person apart so that there is going to be that privacy and the respect we were talking about earlier. And for us to build that trust from that person is that you acknowledge that that person needed respect. And among all the bad things that's happening to that person's life, here comes a leader who is there to listen to his woes, would really totally make a difference. And that supposed bad employee now would be your ally and probably would be a low-hanging fruit in your team.
Some of them are clueless as well.
Bring
Until
them
you
in.
point it out.
Bring them in, Dodge.
Yeah.
Bring them in, Dodge.
That's showing that
Bring them into the whole group.
and that's where you show that you really care for them. One thing that we do in the military is getting to know your employees, not just them on a higher level of your skill set, but James and I, we got close at Guadalajara, So let's talk about your life. Let me understand some things that's happened in your life, because if I understand what made you who you are, then I can help you get to the next level. But if I don't understand that all of these things, all of these traumas occurred in your life, then I'm not going to understand why you're distant. I'm not going to understand why you don't trust people. I'm not going to understand why you just won't listen to the rules that we have set in place. I'm not going to understand why you have issues following orders. This person isn't necessarily trying to just not do what they need to do. There may be something that is affecting them. So when you truly get to know your employee, know who they are, know what makes them, who they are, then you can adjust your leadership style for that person. You this person, whatever. You know that. So okay, I know I need to speak to them. I need to communicate this with them so they can receive what it is that I'm saying. Whereas the older leadership that we have is just do what I say. I don't care how you're feeling. What I'm telling you, and I had to do it because I need to respect my elders.
Exactly.
I have needs as well. I have feelings as well. And I do want to be a team player. Maybe I'm just not capable in this moment because of all of this stuff, as Michael even spoke of, that we're dealing with or we've dealt with, and now it's all coming to manifestation in my life in this position. I just need somebody to hear me and understand that, these things happen and this is why maybe I don't have trust issues. And now the leadership can work on helping to build trust issues, not just for that person, because remember, that's a psychological climate that you're dealing with that individual person, but that psychological climate affects all of the other people around you. So now you are able to implement policies and practices that could cater to employee well-being, that can cater to psychological climate, and even building employee resilience, so that it can help them through these different stressors that they may be going through in life. So it's not so just to make it clear, I'm not saying just throw the bad people on remote. I'm doing that. Supportive of their well-being.
Yes.
That's most supportive. If they feel, hey, I want to do this, but I really work better alone, I really do, then okay, there's a position available for you. I'm not saying just get rid of them, but there's a position available. And that's how you show them that you care.
It's a great point. And I think the most important question to ask here is, how are you doing? And I mean, how are you doing? And sometimes you have to ask that question 3 or 4 times, and you may still not get the answer. But you know what? I always leave the conversation by saying the most important 5 words that I can say. And that's, I'm here for you. I am here. And mean that, because that employee may not come to you right then and there and say that there's a problem. That employee may not come to you in a week from now. May not come from you in a year from now. But they're going to remember those words. And as long as you follow up on those words and you're there for them, I think that's really, really important. And that's really understanding that emotional intelligence too. And having that ROR, that return on relationship, because now that person knows that you have that return on relationship. And that's going to go so much further if there's going to be a conflict, how you can navigate it and become more effective in that. And that's really that's a supportive work environment. And then that's going to drive team performance as well too. So I think it's a good point. And for me, I know the toughest person to lead is myself. Because I'm constantly battling with myself.
Exactly.
Oh.
But a word of caution, though, I would say I really appreciate everything that I heard because it validates all your hard work if you're doing it already.
Yeah.
But a word of caution because it can be exhausting too. Being the kind of leader who's there to listen and to really give everybody, even those bad employees or bad apples we're talking about, or usually is being tagged as a bad employee. They're not expected to change or to be homogenous with the rest right then and there. Sometimes you really have to give them some more time, some more constant coaching, and even outings or eat out. You just have to really get familiar with the person. And everything gets fixed from that moment because there's a curve that we have to understand. Not everyone will follow the same instruction at the same time, right? Sometimes people would see it as a threat because of, again, the upbringing that they have at home. So again, it can be very exhausting, but if you just have to constantly do it because there's holistic goal behind what you're doing, then that's where the genuine efforts of being a leader is being paid off. If you see the person is slowly developing to the kind of person that you want him to be.
And it can go both ways, actually. You asking them how they're doing. I even remember someone like, okay, I asked her, how are you doing? And she told me, how about you, Freds? You've been asking everyone how they're doing. How are you as our leader? And it was also a validation that, they care for you and they maybe see you and you unconsciously, are giving off that energy that, you're so busy and they also care. So it can also go both ways. And you know what, guys? Earlier we reached 250 viewers. So it's a
Awesome.
lot of people
Wow.
learning our mom.
Awesome.
And for
Awesome.
those who are watching, let us know where you're watching from. What have you taken away so far? Share this with your friends, even after the broadcast. This is very helpful, I just cannot emphasize how lucky, fortunate we are to be with these leaders, these authors. So feel free to share. Just looking at the comments here from Even Smoothes. The face of leadership is changing due to many factors, including, yes, the moods of employees, which organizations can address due to their own limitations that they fail to address. Right. So hi everyone. Hi Billy. Loving the discussion between authors here so far. Hello Brittany. James, I'm working on improving my emotional intelligence too. Let's all work on it together, right? So further to our discussion, let's change the dynamics a little bit. So we have hashtags that we have prepared for our guests. So I just need you to I'll call out a hashtag and call out a guest and tell us your thoughts or how would you define these hashtags. Are you ready? Are you ready, Tish, Ellie, Carmen, James, and Michael? All right. Let me start with Michael. Michael, your hashtag is leadership evolution. All right, someone's all right. Leadership evolution.
Well, it's being able to evolve and adjust in leadership because leadership is not. It's just not fluid. It's just not the same. You kind of have to really gain that trust first, and then what you have to do is not only build upon that trust but make it stronger. And I love the term "catch yourself, catching yourself" because I constantly have to do that for myself too, as a leader of my own self and a leader of people. So understanding evolution is being able to change. It's being able to pivot. It's being able to get that understanding of how leadership is just not the same, but it's constantly evolving. And I think, my mentor has told me many of times, and I truly believe this, that if I was to describe leadership in one word, it would be the word influence and being influential and having that influence over people because people want to follow people who have vision, who have that ability to see things before they even happen. And that's who people want to follow and people trust. So evolution is, I think, just going back to constantly evolving as that pivot and changing.
Being fluid. Thank you, Michael. Our next hashtag, I'll give it to Carmen. Carmen, the hashtag is modern leadership.
Wow, that's a mouthful. That's a mouthful. It seemed like we just spoke about that.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, just looking at, whereas understand it's not about the organization. It's about the organization, right? We know it is. That's the bottom line. That's what the piece is about. It's about profitability. However, modern leadership is really, really focusing on employees. What's happened over the decades is organizations tend to focus on their profitability. That's it. Just make money. I don't care about what's going on down there. I don't care about the problem. Just do your job, But they're not thinking about, I can't do my job because I'm going through a divorce. I can't do my job because my kids are leaving. I'm going through this phase of my life. I'm having a difficult time doing my job because of all of these different things going on, these stressors that we're dealing with constantly. So I can't. I want to. I just need some help. And I think recognizing as a leader, whether it's from the CEO down to the supervisory level, recognizing that if we really focus on the employee leadership, not saying we're not going to get the job done, but divert our focus on what do we need to do to take care of our assets, who's going to eventually get us to the point that we're trying to get to. I truly believe that that's where we need to focus right now in modern leadership. Over the years, we have focused on organizations, and scholars and literature is out there to show that. But we're still making small moves to focus on employee well-being, and that's a critical aspect of organizational performance, profitability, engagement, all of that. So we just need to understand that we do have different generations. It's changed really quick. We still have baby boomers working with Gen X. Gen Z. That's a large gap of different mentalities. So focusing on, as a whole, focusing on employee well-being, I think that's going to really help on leadership.
Good place to start. All right. Okay. Ellie, I'm giving you hashtag remote leadership. Sorry, hashtag remote leadership.
Okay. Well, we're talking about predominantly post-pandemic, because before the pandemic, people really didn't work remotely. So we're talking about post-pandemic and how some people are dealing with a lot of things. This goes back to what Dodge was talking about as to what's happening in people's lives as they're trying to work remotely. We have a generation, and it's mostly the millennials at this point in time, who are not only dealing with a job, trying to get a job done, but they've also got kids that are in school. And post-pandemic, a great many of them are caregivers for their elderly parents. Post-pandemic, because of the cost of caregiving and the cost of senior facilities in this country, people can't afford to put their parents back in assisted living or skilled facilities. So they're having to take care of them. So their minds are not always on remote leadership. But I think it keeps in mind that you have to ensure that the productivity is there, and people are meeting deadlines without saying to somebody, you work from 8 to 5. If in understanding that if I work alone and I'm not nobody's bothering me, I can work a lot better if I'm sitting in an office and there are meetings and there are people stopping by that want to talk, and you've got phone calls and you've got all kinds of things. It takes you longer to get that job done, and you may not get it done with the same pursuit of being able to focus on what you're doing. But remote leadership allow staff to participate, but I think that productivity needs to be measured and outcomes need to be evaluated in a very different way than you do even in a hybrid setting where you have half of the office, half of the people in the office. The problem, I mean, when we were in the pandemic and everybody was working from home, it was chaos a lot of times because it was hard to figure out where you were. Everybody was stuck inside. They were stuck with the same people inside, or they were alone and they were dying for some socialization. So I think remote leadership, the other thing about remote leadership that I have a niece who lives here in Denver and was recently hired by a company in Australia. So you also have, she is learning how to navigate leadership from another country, another culture, another time. And remote leadership also deals with the Gen Zer, who's the TikTok generation, as well as the millennials. And all of us love to Google and think that we can find the answers to what we need to know there. I think remote leadership is just, it's difficult. It's difficult, but people manage it. People manage it all every day, but it takes a real different skill set than it did when we all worked in the office for 8 hours and had to look at each other all day.
Different skill set, learning technology as well, right? Ways to communicate.
No, I mean, you can ask any one of these different generations the same question, and they'll each have a different answer because they'll each go someplace different to look for the answer. And that's what technology does. Is it gives us so many options,
and that we have to filter ourselves.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Validate and filter ourselves. Right.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ellie. How about Tish? Are you ready?
Are you ready?
I am giving you emotional intelligence. # emotional intelligence.
All right. So we have really, hit this a lot during this roundtable session today. But I really, friends, believe that it's really our ability as leaders to be able to manage our own emotions, how we use them, how we relate to people that work for us and so forth. It also can help us achieve our own goals, as well. When we create a environment that is supportive, we'll see that our goals are driven towards success better, right? Whenever we have employees or team members, I like to call people team members rather than employees because, it sounds so much better, right? Because we're part of a team. You're not just a body in a seat. And so I think that's real important for us, as leaders to really be able to develop that. And James hit on it a little bit earlier, too, because we have to go within. And how many times have we been in meetings or whatever where, our aura just came off so rude or whatever to where the team members felt every bit of it. And I remember a time that I worked for a company. It's been so many years ago, but I remember in our orientation, one of the young ladies that was, talking to us about next steps and what to expect, basically told us that the CEO of this company, you better not be late. You better be here 10 minutes early. And if you are late, you better be done broke a leg and all this other stuff because he don't want it. And so what that created was such an environment to where when you pulled in the parking lot, people was racing to the parking lot, hopping out of the cars, leaving their stuff, literally running to get into the building, people stumbling over each other to get in that seat. That's not the type of environment that we want to create. Even though we're goal driven, we don't want to create a job that people are fearful to come to, that people are afraid that if they're 2 minutes late that they're going to be fired or let go. It's real important for us to be able to pick up on cues even from our team members. They can be sitting there and can be in a daze, and you walk by. And friends, I think you mentioned it about asking, how are you doing? And Michael, you hit on it. Sometimes you might have to say, how are you doing 2 or 3 times before they feel comfortable opening up. But if we, in our meetings, and we're able to create that supportive environment by allowing our team members to know that we are there for them, right? We're here for you. And then not only that, like Dodge said, it can be exhausting, right? Because you're just one person. This is why we have to have the ability to be able to delegate, right? And support the team members by having different resources, available that they can tap into. Somebody might be going through a divorce or whatever. Well, you may not be a divorcee. You may be happily married, right? So, but at least they have a team or some sort of resource that we can refer them to so that they're able to get that help. Somebody might be grieving the loss of a loved one. You may not have had grief, and so you can refer them to that resource. So that's what I think emotional intelligence is, in the workplace, is having the ability to be able to manage our personal emotions effectively to where our team members, we can relate to them. So that's,
and that they will feel safe.
absolutely
Telling you, because you can't be fine 100% of the time.
Definitely.
But if they don't feel safe, you don't have their trust, then they will not tell you. They will just go out of and they'll just hand you that paper.
That part. They're giving you a notice in 2 weeks,
Exactly.
And so
and
you
it'll be too late.
Weeks anymore. They'll tell you right now, I'm not coming back, or just don't show
that
up.
part. And you don't do that. You spent all this time building your company or building, the project or whatever, and then all of a sudden, if this person is out of the door just because of one wrong word, that you said to them, you know what I mean? And then now you got to struggle to try to put the pieces together because, hey, you just lost a valuable team member just because you didn't want to ask how they were doing to really pick up on the cue that something isn't right today,
Right.
Something's not today. Find out.
That's interesting.
Find out.
Yeah, I would like to piggyback on Tish because leaders sometimes don't know that they have actually projected a different kind of facade from themselves. Like they have to be mad at something all the time just to be listened to. So they create a different kind of persona instead of staying to your core as a human being, leading human being, because there's that confidence coming from your team or people at workplace if they know that their leaders are human beings too, that they have feelings too. So you connect through your emotions, not because you're their boss or you're their leader, but you really are somebody who is nice to talk to,
Right.
or somebody who is nice to go out with and be comfortable sharing your experiences in life. And I think that should be a great asset of becoming a leader.
Absolutely.
It's just
Well,
about,
you can't know.
it's not
You
about
can't
work.
know what people are going through. You can't always know what's happening in someone's life. Somebody comes into the office angry. You don't know what occurred in that morning. Were they fighting with their spouse? Were they fighting with their kids? Did they encounter a road rage situation? Are they late because there was an accident and everybody was stopped? You can't, and then all that does is build up frustration and anxiety, and you just can't know. I mean, you can't know what happens in everybody else's life. It's just a fact of life with everything, and not only just the workplace.
And with that, because we don't know, there's a lot of leaders who don't get a chance to interact with their teammates. I do like that as well, because we're all on the same team, accomplishing the same goal. It's just somebody that's heading that team, But the thing is, we don't always get a chance to speak individually with people. But we want to set a climate where they understand that if they need to communicate something, that somebody is there to hear, somebody's there to listen, not to the point where we're just too busy and we don't want to listen to what's going on. There are times where we can know. We can know, we can ask, we can see if we're connected with our teammates, then we know when the mood changes. We know when the dynamics change. We know when stuff changes. So it's not that difficult to say, hey, what's going on? How are you doing? But again, in order for them to respond, as Michael mentioned, and James has mentioned, that the kids, you have to build trust. And if you don't build trust, it doesn't matter if you ask them what's going on and how they're doing, they're not going to respond because they don't trust us. So
Absolutely.
if we have
You
an
know,
attitude towards them, then they're not going to, it's like, you really don't care. You're just saying it because you're the boss, but you don't care, So,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
people will know it. People will know it by, the tone, and how you you approach, all of that. People will know, whether or not you are sincere or not. You know what I mean?
Right.
We create that, ourselves. We create that. And, to speak to that point too about how we cannot always know, especially whenever we have like the remote situations, going on because they're not in the office. You may not know. But this is why, you create, the one-on-one sessions with them, the check-ins with them, that's what we're on this Zoom right now or stream or what we're on this platform. We have those avenues, where we can, connect with them, face to face. So we're able to see and, you can judge a person's, what's kind of going on by the body language, so that's why in the remote scenarios, it is important for us to be able to come on so we can see each other, and stuff like that. We may not be able to touch each other, but we can feel each other, just by right here. And so we definitely, don't want that to be an excuse because we're not in the person's presence. We can still get in the presence and still be an effective leader.
Right. I was about to say that as well, Tish, that
Mhm.
sometimes you just have to do your research. Like body language tells so much, or
Mhm.
just their eye movement, their eye contact. And there's, again, just like what Ali said, there's so many resources online that you can, research, read to further understand people, right? Understanding yourself and understanding people. By the way, let me just mention earlier we reached around 300 viewers. So I know leaders, parents out there, thank you for watching. I really am happy for
Yes.
you that you are here. You're hearing what we're hearing as well. Because again, you don't get to have this ensemble every day. Maybe on the festival, for sure, on the Festival of Storytellers, but you'll have to wait for a couple of months. But today is the day. All right, James, you are not exempted. I'm giving you the last
Saving the best
pass.
for last, should I
I
say?
know, my friend. All right. Your hashtag is hashtag innovative leadership.
Wow, interesting. Well, I just want to give a quick rundown. We have talked about hashtag leadership evolution, which is very generational, and I think it's very important to innovative leadership. And all the hashtags, I believe, even up to remote leadership and emotional leadership, comprise to hashtag innovative leadership. So I want this is very close to my heart, and I'm happy that I was chosen to discuss about innovative leadership because I would like to discuss about two things where leadership plays a major role for the word innovation. Right, the Festival of Storytellers is going to celebrate its sixth season, and Ellie should know this that the Festival of Storytellers was a product of innovation.
Absolutely.
And I would like to discuss the economical side of innovation because during the pandemic, Reader's Magnet could have decided, just like any other firms or any industries, to shut down and pause operations. But then we cannot afford to lose the idea that our authors will not have the platform to promote their books because there's no book fair,
Yeah.
right? The world has just shut down.
Right.
So I know it's gonna be painstaking, but John and the rest of the team agreed to create the Festival of Storytellers. And now we are celebrating our sixth season, And we're very proud to say that this has to be the longest running virtual book fair. How about we give ourselves a round of applause for that?
Absolutely. Congratulations.
Right? So I would like to anchor that kind of leadership to the word innovation, because you just have to be a standout. You just have to think about the people. What our employees are gonna get of not having a job if we opt to shut down operations? What then are our authors gonna experience is if we're just gonna be like the rest of the industries to pause operations and not have a book fair, right? So we continued. I know it's gonna be difficult. It was truly exciting, as it was a discovery for us to come up with the Festival of Storytellers, but it was a result of innovation, and it was the result of innovative leadership. Now, on the emotional side of innovative leadership, we have to look into and start with an end in mind. I think it is important to begin with an end in mind of what truly it is that our employees are going to appreciate. What are our employees' personal goals? Do they want to have kids? Do they want to get married? How old are they planning to have a family? Do they want to buy a car? Do they want to have a house? All those are continuing education, graduate from the university. So it's important for leaders to know the goals of our employees, because that could be a good anchor where our direction is going to head to, right? There's no point of blindly leading our people not knowing their personal goals. I think it pays to know their goals, because that's going to be our anchor to where the boat is going to go, right? And at the same time, innovative leadership is giving everybody equal opportunity to speak. Like yourself, they can be as smart as you. They can be as creative as you. And the Festival of Storytellers is a product of different minds brainstorming, from ranks to brand and marketing to sales to France's department, marketing production. So it was really a result of a collaboration and a brainstorm of different set of people and different backgrounds that created that ball of fire that even up to this day we are enjoying. So innovative leadership for me should begin with an end in mind. And to me, that end in mind is about employee centered. It should be employee centered. It should be people centered. It should be person centered. Because no matter where we go, no matter how far we can fly, if our people are with us to bring us up, then it's going to be a holistic growth. It's going to bring the company, it's going to bring the company to heights. So I think that's what innovative leadership is supposed to be.
Thank you,
But in
James.
those 6 years, Dodge, look at how this has changed. Look at each year how the Festival of Storytellers has grown. Look at each year as how the staff that I've had the pleasure of and the great honor of working with is young. It coming from me, frankly. They're young, they're smart, they're creative, and they're innovative. And each year they sit back and they look and say, how can we make this a bit different? What can we do different on the stage? How can we make how can we make the authors broadcasting from their booths look different? How can we make it? One year we had people that would talk for 2 or 3 hours, and the staff was going crazy because they had all these other authors who were scheduled to be on, and you got this one guy who's talking for 3 hours. Well, next year you say, we can't have that. How do you allow the creativity of your authors mesh with the creativity and the innovation and the desire of this staff to make this as exciting and as successful as it has been? Because Reader's Magnet is the only self-publishing entity out there who has a virtual book fair. They may all go to all these different book fairs that you go to, and they may all have their own booths and their own this and their own that. But this is yours. This is ours.
Exactly.
This is all of us as ours, authors, and as all the people that are watching. This is ours. This is ours. So
Mhm.
this staff does, when they create this platform, they create the roundtables, they create how we're going to handle the author of the hours, how they're going to handle all the bits and pieces that go in between. And the staff works very, very hard during those 2 weeks, juggling a million balls, as well as running the company as it should be.
Mhm.
So the Festival of Storytellers it's innovative. There's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of and we're all remote. I mean, we're oceans away. We're all remote. So
And
Oh.
Ellie is the
talk
OG
to
of the
readers
Festival of Storytellers.
have fun.
She should know. Ellie should know.
Ellie is the
Right.
OG of the Festival of Storytellers, and I thank Ellie that even up to this day she's with us. Thank
Yeah.
you. She was with us since the beginning of the Festival of Storytellers, and now Ellie,
Yeah.
I'm being humbled
Boy,
by the
has it
opportunity
changed.
to have this moment with you and Tish.
Thank
We
you,
met
Dodge.
Readers Magnet and Tish met in Germany last year in
Yes.
Frankfurt. Carmen and Readers Magnet met at Guadalajara, Mexico. Michael and Readers Magnet met at Beverly Hills in LA. So you guys come from different places, and our paths have crossed from different backgrounds and different places.
Mm.
And now here with us, we're all gathered at the Festival of Storytellers, and that is a product of innovative leadership, friends.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it is.
I want to start talking about
Absolutely.
confab. I won't start talking about confab, but innovative. I mean, so much. There's so much, and if only you see what's happening in the background. That's so true. What Ali said. It's getting emotional, but that's the heart. That's the heart of Reader's Magnet, to take everyone's story, any story with the world. All right. So, we can do this for 2, 3, 5 hours, guys, but no, I will not hold you up. Let's now, I want to give the authors a chance to share, tell us about your book, where we can get your book, and, anything else you would like the viewers. We now have 254 viewers. A lot, and you can see the comments even after this broadcast. It's very heartwarming. So, let me start with who wants to go first. All right, let me start with Michael.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, please do the honors of introducing your book to us, and where can we get your book? Where can we interact with you?
I think the best way to interact with me would be at my website,
Mm.
crisis-opportunity.us. That's
There's the
crisis-opportunity.us. I do blog a lot. I do a lot of interactions with people as well too. You can go out there. I usually probably release between 1 and 3 blogs a week, so I'm pretty active on that. And for my book, it's all about one thing. It's all about being able to catching yourself before you hit that spiral, and use some of the tools to be able to spiral back up and become the best version of yourself. So that's really and truly what it's all about. It's about that mental portion of it, because when you change your mind, you change your life. There's no other thing that you can possibly say. You can change everything else in your life, but when you change your mind, you change your life. So really being able to have the tools pre-boom, pre-event, so that when you come on the other side of the event in life, you're in the post-traumatic growth side of things and not the post-traumatic stress side of things.
Mhm. And where can we get your book? Where is it available?
It's on my website, crisis-opportunity.us. It's also in Book Baby. That's my publisher, and also it's on Amazon. And I did have it done. It is on audio as well too.
Oh,
So
wow.
you can get everything right from my website. That's crisis-opportunity.us, and any kind of version that you want on there is as well. And please also feel free. Getting ready to release a webcast series as well too, to interact with people on resilient moments and random acts of kindness. So we're trying to spread that little bit of joy in the world.
All right. Question, Michael, is will we see you in the Festival of Storytellers?
I don't believe so. I know that I'm traveling a lot coming up. I have a lot of speaking events, and we do have a pretty large company now that we do mental wellness training all over the world. So
Oh yeah.
I have facilitators, and we have facilitators in
Mm.
every part. So I'm pretty busy right now scaling. So I don't think that I'll be there for that.
But thank you for being here today. Thank
I
you so much.
appreciate being here today. I really
We
do.
appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
All right. So crisis equals opportunity dot US. Right?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Michael. Let's hear it from the first lady. Okay, my friend Tish.
Riz always calls me the first lady, okay? UQR, I mean, I love it. Okay, I love it. So, of course, you guys, thank you all for tuning in with us out there, that listening to us and viewing us from all over the world. I want you to know that we most definitely appreciate you. We definitely want you to hit the share button. Y'all know me, right? I'm the host all the time. Okay, so we want you to hit that share button so that we can get this all over the world to all of your friends and everything. So you want to be a first lady, you guys? You can pick this book up on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Books a Million, anywhere you can buy a book, you can find So You Want to Be a First Lady. And I also will plug Morning Tea with the King as well. If you just type in Tish Barnhardt on Google, you'll see a host of things that'll come up as far as books and other things that I have going on there. You can also visit my website at www.tishbarnhardt.com. And so there you will find the books available, as well as some other books that I co-authored in called Testaments from Survivors, Women Healed and Whole. You can find those there, as well as some blogs, you guys, that I know will certainly help you in your walk with the Lord and just in your walk personally. Okay. So I want you to go to the website, www.tishbarnhardt.com, and check out those blogs. You can order the books from there as well. If you would like for me to autograph your copy, I can do that. But preferably, I would love for you to go on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or any of those outlets and purchase a copy of the book. Listen, I don't want you to be selfish, okay? Pick up one or consider getting one for someone else, okay? That's what we want you to do. Get one for somebody else. You never know who is going through what. So in the book, So You Want to Be a First Lady, we're going to give you the juice of the story of this first lady that went through all of these things in her personal life while trying to navigate those things, being married to a man of great prominence, right? Sometimes, we have no idea what the women suffer behind the closed door, right? But at the end of every juicy read, you guys, you're going to get some good wisdom nuggets to glean from. And I can't tell you, I have had several men, okay? Don't get moved by So You Want to Be a First Lady. Think it's just a book for ladies. No. It is a book for you men as well. You're going to be able to glean from some of these nuggets. And I even had a couple of men that have read the book that have told me they were helped by the nuggets that we have given. And it caused them to be able to look at some things that they may have been doing in their own relationships, right? That they may not have been aware of, but reading it in a book now, oh, wow. So you're going to get some wow moments there. So we definitely want you picking up your copy. And again, thank you so much for tuning in with us today.
Thank you so much, Tish. So again, that's tishbarnhardt.com. Holidays are coming, right? Thanksgiving, Christmas. Get one for yourself, get one for your man, for your friends, everyone. Yes. Thank you so much, Tish.
You're welcome, please.
Thank you. And then we have Carmen Davenport. Let's hear it from you.
Hello. I have been on numerous platforms here with Reader's Magnet. I'm grateful. I'm thankful to y'all for allowing me to be on your platform and for, just allowing for this book to be exposed to the masses. Your Warrior Stance, Releasing the Warrior in You, is actually a workbook. It's not just a reading book, it's a workbook. I want you to apply it to your life. I want you to work on the exercises that are in here. I want it to be practical to everything that you do. Your Warrior Stance is going to allow for you to help build resilience. It helps you to build confidence. And it's also going to help bring a work-life balance. There are sections in here where we talk about the work aspect of your warrior life and how you can apply each of the acronyms. Warrior Stance is actually an acronym. I don't want to get into it right now. You'll be able to have wisdom, authority. You'll learn how to be resilient. You'll learn how to be a risk taker. You'll learn how to set goals. You'll learn how to network. Those are just some of the acronyms that are in this book. But it can be applied to your work life as well as your family life. A lot of us are going through various issues, whether it's school or raising children, raising millenniums, all of these different dynamics. And we have to learn how to be even within our household. So your warrior stance will teach you how to grab your sword, grab your shield, and go out and fight any battle that you have to fight with confidence. And that's what your warrior stance is. Now, you can get your warrior stance on any platform. You can get it from Amazon, from Barnes & Noble, any bookstore. You can go ahead and order it. I have copies myself. You can go to my website, which is www.invincibleyoucoaching, because that's what I want to make you, invincible.
One more time.
www.invincibleyoucoaching, all one word, .com. There's a lot of information on there because I'm also a life coach, certified life coach. So you can go to the website, read a plethora of information on how to move from one step in your life to the next step. A lot of times we're just trying to accomplish goals. We really just want to accomplish goals, but we don't always know how to do that. So if you want that service, you're also welcome to get that as well. Now, you can reach me on my Facebook and Instagram at I am Carmen Davenport. Very simple. I am Carmen Davenport. And I'm very responsive. My email is also Carmen Davenport at invincibleyou.com. So if you send me an email, I'm very responsive to my emails. If you have a question, whatever it is, I'm there to help you move to the next portion of your life. So thank you so much for listening.
Carmen, thank you for your time. Thank you for being with us today as well. Everyone, your Warriors Test by Carmen Davenport. Check her out on Facebook, Instagram, and her website. Thank you so much, Carmen. We still have 289 people watching us. Come on. There's a lot. And again, invite your friends over. It's not yet too late. Share the recorded, share the live stream. All right. Dear Ellie, please do the honors of sharing your book with the audience.
Well, I actually have two books, One Caregiver's Journey and a cookbook, Generations of Good Food. They're both available on Amazon and Barnes & Nobles and most every online entity that's out there. My website is www.onecaregiversjourney.com. You can purchase the book there. My website is full of caregiving blogs as well as cooking blogs. But my caregiver's book was born out of 10 years of caregiving for my mother. She fell and broke her hip at the age of 93, and I ceased a 40-year professional career to stay home and care for her. I was a sole caregiver, so within these four walls, we lived together for 10 years. She died at the ripe old age of 102 in her bed in my home. So One Caregiver's Journey is a blueprint and of how to be a caregiver. It has been recognized by the Home Health Association as a journey, and it is a journey. It is journaled, and it is a snapshot in time of the changes and challenges that occur as of being a caregiver over the full 10-year period. My cookbook is Generation of Good Food. And it's my little baby. It's also based on my mother was an unbelievable cook and baker, and so this is 6 generations of my Italian family and recipes, and some of the favorite recipes that we have cooked through the years. And I will just say that I've been baking all morning. I've been baking for the last 4 days because this weekend I am selling books and participating in a bake sale for a Sons of Daughters in Italy group that I belong to, and it's their annual craft fair, Christmas craft fair. So, like Tish said, like Carmen said, like Michael said, and buy our books for Christmas gifts. Everybody would love to have a cookbook for Christmas. And, someone who's going to be a caregiver or is a caregiver, they could always use a little blueprint. And I thank you. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. And you can catch me at onecaregiversjourney.com. And I'm happy. And I thank you, Reader's Magnet, for doing this. This was really a lot of fun, and it was great to interact with all the rest of you. And I look forward to the Festival of Storytellers.
We do. And, I've tried your cookie. I want to have some more, but sometime, next time.
Ellie's cookies are the best.
The best. And healthy too.
Yes, they are. Dodge has had them how many times?
I know, several times since 2022.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ellie. Thank you so much. And quickly, Dodge, you might not have a book, but I'm so sure you're busy. What's keeping Reader's Magnet busy these days?
Yeah, so I would like to invite everybody to participate at Guadalajara International Book Fair. Reader's Magnet is going to be a featured book booth at the Guadalajara International Book Fair sometime at the end of November. Friends, keep me honest with the dates until December 4th. I believe that's going to be November 30 to December 4.
Right, that's correct.
Right?
November 30 to December 4.
Exactly. That's going to be our second time as the sole exhibitor, this time at the Guadalajara International Book Fair. That's where we met Carmen Davenport. She was our book signing author last time. So I already got some feedback. Tish, you're going to see Alyssa once again. She's going to be there. And a new author, a friend that whom we met in Frankfurt International Book Fair, wanted to be there as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun again. It's going to be a party at Reader's Magnet booth. Once again. Yeah. And then we're going to be having the Festival of Storytellers middle of January until early February. And I hope everybody who is watching us right now would be watching our events on a monthly basis. What's different this time for the Festival of Storytellers, there are going to be roundtable discussions here and there as a prelude to the Festival of Storytellers. This is to maximize the time where there's going to be a lot of topics to discuss about. A lot of things are happening right now in the States and even across the world, which needs people like us or authors to discuss about and participate with and get inspiration from in writing your stories, right? So we invite everybody to be part of that. And you can sign up through our website, thefestivalofstorytellers.com. You can sign up as an author or as a fair goer. There's going to be a lot of fun in there, a lot of games, a lot of giveaways. We're giving away a lot of Kindles and more soon as we have fully launched the Festival of Storytellers Season 6 website.
All right. Busy times ahead. Good times.
Busy times.
Thank you so much, James. And before we end, some of you and a lot of you have been waiting for this. We are now at 318 views as we speak, but we had a contest. If our backstage director can please flash the book cover that we posted in our social media, and we asked everyone if you can create a title for this book cover, what would it be? Well, Tish, if you are to create a title for this book cover, what would it be?
I forgot what I even put down. So just off the cuff, Behind the Butterfly. I don't know.
What was that again?
I said Behind the Butterfly.
Behind the Butterflies. Why not?
Behind the Butterflies.
And it can be a Roman novel. I don't know. All right. Well, anyway, we chose three winners, and I will announce them now. I hope you were watching. The first title was given by Denise Mills, and the title that she gave us was Beautiful Metamorphosis. Oh, wow. Denise Mills, Beautiful Metamorphosis. All right, Denise will reach out to you for your prize. And the second is Mary Louise Scott. Her title is Raven Falls Vampire Chronicles. Why not? It looks very mysterious, so very appropriate. And the third one, congratulations to Latasha Perry, Flutters of the Soul. I like myself.
That's
What
nice.
is so
I like that.
cool.
Wow.
That's nice. Thank you so much,
Cool.
everyone, for joining. And you gotta watch out for another promotion that we have. I believe tomorrow we'll be posting, or in the days to come, exciting prizes await everyone. And again, we can't thank you enough for your time today, Michael, Carmen, Ellie, Tish, James. Thank you so much. And again, for those who are watching, thank you so much for your time. I know you had a great time, and we will have some more great time come the Festival of Storytellers. But for now, we wish you a good day, a good night, wherever you're watching. And just like what we say, everybody would say it together. Here at Reader's Magnet, we
We share your story with the world.
Before we go, is it okay to take a picture of the group?
Oh, yeah, sure.
All right. I'm going to take a quick picture.
All right.
Go ahead, Mike.
Let me see if I got it.
All right.
Nah, it didn't come out too well. Hold on.
Okay.
What?
Sure. I think we
Want
can
to do it
that.
again?
Can I do it one more time? Can I try one more time?
Sure.
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 Okay, viewers, say hi. Say cheese.
There's a glare. That's why.
Oh.
On the screen.
I think the backstage director can send us a copy. I
He
think
can,
we
he
did some
can.
screenshots while we were talking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your
can
time.
you do that?
I took a screen.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Michael.
Fantastic. Because mine didn't come out too well.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Bye,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye. Take care.
Tell us about your book.
Yes, my name is David Witherington Stewart. I'm a Florida author. I'm 80.
Carol Kinney is a writer. I write
Our very intimate Reader's Magnet author we have here, Karen Rennie. It is Unfaded Beauty, book 1 of 4, the new Proverbs 31 Women series.